Alfa Romeo was wanting to enter into the subcompact SUV slash crossover market. And in a collaboration with Dodge, they created two new vehicles. This Tonale and the Dodge Hornet. Now, don't worry, because this is definitely more Alfa Romeo than it is Dodge. Up front, you can see this has the traditional Alfa Romeo front end styling with the upside down triangle grille and these sinister looking LED headlights. Let's come around to the side, show you something pretty cool. Here we get a little more Alfa Romeo style with this 5-cylinder revolver style wheels and Brembo brakes. As we work our way to the back, I'm kind of seeing some Porsche Macan styling back here, which is not a bad thing because it kind of keeps it with that sporty design, but also giving you good headroom and a decent amount of cargo space. Speaking of cargo space, how about we open that up and let's see how much space is actually back there. All right, here in the back, we are looking at about 23 cubic feet of space. Now that's pretty nice, pretty good amount of space. You do have a 12-volt plug back here, and you got a couple things for your grocery bags, so that's good. Underneath, got a little bit of storage space for a charger, and you do have your ski pass-through, and if you drop the second row, you get about 52 cubic feet of space. That's not too bad. So unlike the Dodge Hornet, the Tonale only comes as a plug-in hybrid. That's right, you get a 15.5 kilowatt hour battery that will provide up to 31 miles of range. You get 240 volt charging, will charge up in about 2.5 hours. The Tonale is powered by a 1.3 liter turbo inline 4-cylinder with 180 horsepower and an electric drive motor with 121 horsepower. You get 285 horsepower combined with 347 foot-pounds of torque. A 6-speed automatic transmission will get you about 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. As for the fuel economy, the engine's going to provide about 28 miles per gallon on its own, with the electric portion bringing in a 77 miles per gallon equivalent. I just wanted to thank you guys for joining me with the review on this Tonale. If you would, go down and hit the subscribe button. That way we can get more subscribers, we can get more cars, and I can get more reviews to bring to you. So please pop down there, hit that subscribe button, and then join me inside the car as we take a look at all the tech stuff going on in there. Let's take a look at the interior here. Here is the door panel. You can actually see there's Harman Kardon stereo system here. Got your window functions, your mirror functions. Do have driver memory seating right up here and your locks. All right, do have 8-way powered driver's seat and passenger seat. This is the only interior you get is the black leather with perforated, and you got heat and ventilation. All right, let's get inside, take a closer look. Coming around the inside here, I do like the turbine style vents. This is a nice, decently soft material right here. This here is a nice design cube, but it also lights up at night. You have several different colors you can choose from there. And this is also a little bit harder, but nice, soft material there. You do have your Harman Kardon subwoofer up here. You also have a speaker there and a speaker there. Pan down here to your driver's display. You have multiple different things that you can put on here. So on your right side, right now, I have it in the Advanced Eco. So this does give you your charging right here. It'll show you how much charge you're getting from your regen braking, how much power you're actually putting out. If you put this in natural, you're going to get a traditional style RPM gauge. In the center, you have a few different options we can do there. We'll check that in just a second. And then on the left side, you have your speedometer, along with your gas gauge and driver assistance at the moment. Let's go to this center gauge real quick. So here on the steering wheel, you do have a page button. We're going to push that, and that's going to allow you to change that center part of the driver display. No messages. There is your driver assistance, and then that will take it from the speedometer and bring it to the center. You can continue on. This is your instant and your average mile per gallon. You got navigation you can actually put in the center, which is nice. You got a digital speedometer. You have your acceleration and brake for your hybrid info, so it's going to let you know how well you're doing. And then back it to this main screen, which is what I like to keep it on, because you do have your range down in the bottom there, and then you do have your gas range and your electric range. So you've got all of that in one place. Now, if you push the page button here again on the steering wheel, and you do that twice, then you can change this gauge over here. So you have a compass, trip A, trip B, tire pressure, average and current mile per gallon. You have a tachometer gauge, and then back to the same. So we'll put that on trip A. That is your driver's display. So now let's go over the infotainment screen. Now, there's a whole lot going on in here. I do have a full video on the tech of this car. So you're going to have the driver's display and this infotainment screen. So we will just hit a couple quick little functions in here. Watch that video if you want to see more on that. So here on your home screen, you have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So that is a plus right there. You can go to your media, and you have FM, XM, and then your phone. Comfort. All right, here is your climate control stuff. So you have heated and ventilated seats and a heated steering wheel. You got your sync buttons. You can control where your fans are blowing, and them on and off. Your passenger has the exact same thing on their side. And then you do have these quick buttons at the top. So if we are in the home screen, we can click that, and then you can get to those quick buttons right there when you need them, which is really nice. Then you do have a few other icons right here, which we go through in the other video. Profiles, notifications, and there is your backup camera. You do have a few different options for your camera, front and rear. All right, and let's go down to vehicle here. So on the vehicle button here, you got my car. This is going to give you information just about your car. You got trip A and B, and that's how you reset those. Also, your e-hybrid. Under your e-hybrid, you have several different things. You can do the power flow, so you can see where all the power is going as you're driving. A driving history. You can schedule your charging. Under eSave, now you can set this eSave as a battery saver or a battery charge. So if you put on battery save, it's going to save your battery for later whenever you need to use it. Battery charge is going to charge the battery back up to whatever level you have it set at, and then you can turn it off and use the battery again. And then you have a charge setting. If you have a slower charger, you can actually turn this down, so you don't have to worry about that most of the time though. And your 240 is going to charge your battery, as we talked about earlier, in about 2.5 hours. All right. Now, climate controls. You do not have to use this up here for your climate control. You actually have buttons right down here. So you've got your auto and all of your other buttons all the way across here. So that makes that a lot easier. You have a 12-volt plug-in here, USB-C and USB-A right here. Here is your drive mode button. So right now we are in advanced, eco, whatever you want to call that. Then you have the natural button, and you have dynamic, and then you have your traction off. In every drive mode, except for dynamic, your suspension, in every drive mode, except for dynamic, your dampening is set as comfort. If you go to dynamic, it will tighten up your dampers, so you got a little bit more sport handling. Moving back, you do have a traditional shifter, which is nice to see. Back here, you do have, there's your e-save button that you can turn that on, save your battery or charge your battery, whichever one you'd like to have. You do have assisted parking on this car and park it warnings. Your volume control for your stereo is right here. I really do like this. This is just a quick little scroll up and down, really nice function. And then you have an electronic parking brake. Back here, you do have two cup holders. One thing that I have realized about these cup holders in here, these have they're like a rubberized type in here. They don't go in and out. They're just kind of like some little push things. If you have a bottle that is kind of tight going in there, or it has some kind of textured material on the outside, it is really hard to get those back up out of there. So you might think about that. Move on back here to the center console. Not very big. It's deep. It is deep, but it's just not very big. So we've got some glasses down in there, a couple different charging cords and stuff like that. But it should be okay. So here is your cockpit view. Actually really nice. It's really comfortable in here. This is a little tight here against my knee when I'm trying to drive, but other than that, everything is really good in here. It is really comfortable once you get everything set up the way you want it. So the steering wheel here, on this side, you've got your page button, which will control all of your adjustments to your center part of your driver's display and the right side. Your scroll is how you switch those. And then this is your volume for your stereo. This will also be your forward and backward track on the radio. On this side of the steering wheel, this is where all your driver assistance things are. So you have your cruise control, which you turn on here. This sets it right here. Your adaptive cruise is right there. Resume and cancel, and lane centering. Lane keep assist is actually over here on the end of this stalk right here. And to see that, we actually got to go this way. And you can see right on top, it tells you that it's that button on the side to actually turn that on and off. It took me a little while to find that. Now, a couple different things which are interesting about this car. This is not new. There are some other vehicles that do this, but your turn signal, when you turn it on or off, so we're gonna go right, it just goes up and drops right back into place, but it turns it on. So if you're just changing lanes, then you have to push down slightly to get it to stop. That is not abnormal, and you do have your little 3 turn signal thing if you want to just change lanes on the interstate. That one is not as bad as this right here. This was really confusing for me. So this one on the outside here. So this one over here is your wipers. Now to make the back one work, you press it down once. Okay? The problem is when you do that, it turns it as an intermittent. So it just keeps doing it back there until you do it again. But you have to push it down again to get it to stop. So it's either on or off, but it's push down, push down. That was a little strange. And then the front wipers, of course, you press up once and they go across. And then you can adjust them. They do have an automatic setting. But these are some of the fastest wipers I have ever seen in a car. I'm going to push this. Watch how fast they go across here. They're like, boom, 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 boom. Pretty crazy. All right. One thing I did just forget to mention was this is where your start-stop button is. It's on the steering wheel. Apparently, this is how Alfa Romeo does theirs. This is my first Alfa Romeo. Took me a little time to actually find the button. I was trying to push this button because when this car is shut off, it is completely black and it looks like a button. So let's shut that off, see? It just looks like a regular button. So I was trying to push this to actually start the car. That doesn't work. You have to press that button. The last thing up front is this does come with a sunroof. So this one was optioned with the sunroof. All right, so that should be everything up here. Let's go hop in the back and see how I fit back here. I am about 6 foot and the driver's seat is in my driving position. And it looks like my knees are kind of touching the seat back here. Not too bad. It is soft material. There is some give there. So I think I could probably be okay. The person in front, if they could move forward a little bit, that would be ideal. But overall, it's not horrible. Headroom. Yeah, I'm pretty close on the headroom too. About probably a ½ an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch space up here. So why don't you guys come join me and we'll take a look at what is going on back here. There is the door panel. It's pretty similar to the front. Little speaker there, speaker down here at the bottom. There's not a lot going on back here, but everything is really nice and soft, really comfortable back here. The seats are pretty comfortable. And then you do have ventilation back here and a USB-C and USB-A plug. And then I believe in the center console, you do have a couple cup holders and there's your ski pass-through that you can access. Here's the top. We're looking at maybe 2 fingers. So about an inch or so. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot going on back here. How about, maybe it's time to take this for a drive? The Tonale is loaded with standard features, including powered front seats, blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, remote start, and traffic sign recognition. The base Sprint starts at $43,845. The top Veloce starts at $51,040. And our tester, after options and destination, comes in at $57,450. Okay, you guys have seen the inside and the outside, so how about we just go take this for a drive and let's see how it performs. All right, so we've been driving this for about 4 days now, and it is a really comfortable car. It does have a sporty feel to it, even in the comfort setting on the suspension. You move into dynamic and yeah, you're going to get a little stiff ride. So these country roads did not handle that dynamic very well. It kind of felt a little stiff and bumpy. But the comfort is pretty decent. Kind of feels more like you're driving a sports car even in the comfort mode. Now it does accelerate very well. I do like the natural setting on here, which basically uses the battery first and then engages the engine when it needs to. So if you hammer the accelerator, it's going to kick that engine in to get you up to speed, and then it'll kick back to the battery. If you put it in the advanced mode or eco mode, it will prioritize the battery first, then kick you over to gasoline when you run out of your electric miles. So we're going to put it in dynamic mode when we get up here, and let's just see how it sounds, how it feels. We're in dynamic mode, which engages the engine, and then we'll use the electric drive motor to help propel us from the rear. Do a little brake torque. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, it did not like brake torquing. Not sure why, but let's do this again. Let's launch again with no brake torque. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wow. All right, so there's a hesitation there. I'm not sure what that is. It almost felt like when it bogged down, then the turbo came in and then it just took off. So I'm not sure what that's about. I'm not sure what that tuning is about. it does seem to, when you're rolling along at going 40 miles per hour and you press on the accelerator, you get a little push and then the turbo kicks in. So they might need to adjust that turbo lag just a little bit, tighten that up some. But yeah, that I was not real impressed with there. But the handling on this car is great, and the sound of the motor is great. I do like, or the sound of the exhaust is great, actually. So when you're in dynamic mode, you have a higher RPM, therefore you hear the exhaust more. When you are in natural, you don't hardly hear it at all, and a lot of times you don't even hear it because you're running an electric. And running an electric is very, very quiet. You can hear that electric whine or whistle or whatever you want to call that when you do accelerate and get to the higher speeds is when you really start to hear that. I've really enjoyed driving this car. It does give you that sporty feel, you know, that Alfa Romeo luxury sport car feel, kind of along the lines of a BMW. That's the way it makes me feel. The venting in here is, the vents, I like the way the vents look. I like the way all of this looks in here. But one thing that I have noticed is that it is rather warm in here. So the last couple days I've been driving this, and it's only been like 40, 50 degrees outside, and I've had to have the temperature inside the car set on 66, and I was still warm. The auto setting did not seem to be working all that great. I wasn't getting much airflow coming out anywhere, and when we did turn the fans up, sometimes it seems like it didn't want to kick that AC in, and it's pretty bad when, you know, if it's 41 degrees outside, there shouldn't be any reason you're running the air conditioning. But when the sun's out in this car, we're having to run the air conditioning to try to stay cooled off in here. So maybe there's something that needs to be worked on with the climate in here, but everything functions right and it works okay. The AC just seemed like it took a while for it to really start pushing out the air conditioning, and maybe that is just this car. It could be. That's just something we came across. Probably a lot of it's just this black interior pulls in a lot of heat. As I mentioned earlier, the cup holders, they are kind of a rubbery material in here, so if you have a textured water bottle that you carry all the time or coffee mug, it is hard to get them in and out. Plastic bottles didn't seem to be too bad getting those in and out. It's a good car, definitely a good car, and I can't wait to get the Hornet in a couple weeks and do a little comparison between the two. Thanks for joining me in this review. Don't forget to click subscribe down at the bottom, because the more subscribers we get, the more cars that we can get, the more reviews we can bring to you. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button before you go. Also, there's 2 videos up here on the screen. You should click one, because one I think you're gonna like, the other one YouTube thinks you're gonna like. I'm sure you're gonna like both of them. So click on one of them, and I will see you in that next one.